feel like a
everyone?
fish.
Can you hear us out there? Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a fishbowl.
Say hi to Zachary Levi, the amazing Zachary Levi.
I don't know that they, can you hear me?
I don't
know.
think
Oh,
that-
you can't hear?
yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Great.
So strange.
You, of course, know him from Shazam, Chuck, and Tangled, and you will have Shazam Fury of the Gods coming up next year.
Yeah.
So give him a big, big, big Portuguese welcome, guys. We want to hear you in here. Wonderful. Yay. So, Zachary, this is your first time in Portugal, I believe.
No, I've actually been to Cascais. I think something.
Yes,
I don't know if I'm
Cascais.
pronouncing that exactly
Cascais,
correct.
Cascais.
Yeah, I went there for a friend's wedding a few years ago, and I flew through Lisbon, but I was only ever in the Lisbon airport. So this is the first time I've actually really got to be in Lisbon.
When did you arrive? Just today?
No, I got here yesterday morning.
Okay.
And then I got on a Lime scooter, and I went and took a scooter around the town. I went to a park and got some lunch, and then was watching World Cup. I'm sure, like everybody else was, all
Yes.
last night. And
I don't
man,
I don't know if you know, but at the time of your panel this afternoon, there will be a Portugal team.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to be here, but I'm also very disappointed that I'm going to be missing that.
Oh, no, I think
that
people
match.
will be there.
I'm sure we'll all be watching it on our phones while we're here.
And the
yeah.
only thing you will have to do is to celebrate the goals with us. Hopefully celebrate.
It doesn't matter what I'm doing. If every time Portugal scores, I will be like, oh!
All of us.
Doesn't matter. I could be in the middle of signing something. It's like, oh! Just throwing markers up in the air.
So, guys, we'll do that in the afternoon. But now let's talk a bit about Shazam Fury of the Gods.
Yeah.
Which will premiere
March.
March.
Yeah, March
in
17th.
Portugal 16.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, because we premiere films one day ahead of the US.
Fantastic. I love that.
Yes. I don't know if you can say much because otherwise people from DC will kill you.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
what can you tell us? What can we expect about Shazam Fury of the Gods?
Well, what can I say? Listen, I think, did you guys enjoy the first Shazam? Yeah?
Yeah.
You enjoyed it? I think the first Shazam, I think the first Shazam was a really good movie. I don't think it's, it's not perfect, nothing's perfect, but I think we did a pretty good job with it. And I think that, I don't know, 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, all that stuff, it seems to be a good movie. And Shazam Fury of the Gods is better than the first movie, and I don't say that lightly. I don't just say those things because I don't want to set bad expectations, and then everyone goes to the theater and they're like, "This movie sucks. Why didn't we come to this movie?"
It won't
But
suck.
no, but genuinely, I saw a screening of it the other day. We had more budget, they gave us more money this time, they gave us more time, and the script was great, and Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu are like the bad guys, and they're fantastic.
I wanted to talk a bit about that. How was that to welcome them and have these new heavyweight additions to the cast?
So cool. I knew Lucy a little teeny bit before we worked together, but I never worked with her, and she was fantastic. But Helen Mirren is, she's a royalty. She's Dame Helen Mirren, and she's exactly as cool as you think she is. Like whatever you think in your mind, I think that's how cool Dame Helen Mirren is. She's actually even a little cooler than that. And we got to do these scenes together. I was pooping my pants. I was like, this is one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life.
Oh, that's amazing.
So they were wonderful additions. And Rachel Zegler as well, so talented, wonderful addition to the cast. And we got everybody else to come back, and we got more time with all the super versions of all the kids because we had to hold on to that till the end of the first movie as the big surprise. And now everyone knows that, so now we can all fly around together and, fight crime together like a bunch of flying Power Rangers.
and like you said, there are a lot of gods in this second film. So
Yeah.
how was it to balance that with all of the characters, some of the characters having all those superpowers? It was different from the first one, right?
Well, yeah, Dr. Savannah was an incredibly powerful foe and was, basically powered by all of the dark energy and sin, literal sin. So he was very powerful.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun that we get to dive in more to the Greek mythology of everything because my name, Shazam, has a lot to do with Greek mythology and the various or the various gods and demigods and things of that nature. So it's really fun that we got to dive into that stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. Also, Shazam, of course, is not your average superhero, if there is something like an average superhero. Because
who would be the average superhero? Who
maybe
would that be?
like Superman, probably. I don't know.
But is he the average
Yeah,
superhero?
I don't
He's
know.
an alien from another planet.
You're
That's
right,
not very
you're
average.
right. But Shazam has a
I know, I'm
has a
kidding.
kid in inside him, you know? He has a kid inside
it's very
him.
unique.
So how do you find the right tone to play that?
Well, I'm a child. I don't know if you... I have a beard, but I am just a child inside. That's how I got the job. I don't know. I've always liked to have a lot of fun, and I've always liked to maintain my curiosity and creativity. By the way, never let that go. Little guy, never let go of your curiosity and your creativity. Never let those go, no matter what happens in the world. They're so important. They keep you the person that I think we all want to be at the end of the day.
That is translating to him in Portuguese.
There you go.
I can see
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Do you like the lesson? Yeah.
So yeah, those I just lean on all that stuff. I
Yeah.
just kind of go, okay, I get to go have fun right now.
Okay, but you feel like in this second movie, his personality had to change and grow somehow?
Well, of course, because in the first movie he was like 14, 15, and now he's 17 or so, and I mean, you know, how much did you change between 14 years old and 17 years old? You change a lot between those
especially
years.
in those ages.
High school and all that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just tried to just age him up a little bit, you know, just to kind of make him a little more confident in what he was doing and a little more mature, but not too much because you still want to maintain that fun.
Okay, I read that you had some more opportunities to improv on set in this film. I think I read that in an interview you gave.
Yeah.
How was that? And was there a specific improv moment that you recall that you can tell us right now? Again, I'm trying to get you killed by the DC people.
Never going to happen. Well, yes. I mean, listen, Henry Gayden, who wrote the first script, wrote the second script, and he's fantastic. He's a really talented writer. I was so grateful that he just understood. He and I, and we're all around the same age. Henry, myself, and David F. Sandberg, who directed it, who also did a great job. We all grew up with the same movies, so we all kind of have a very similar sensibility. You know, Amblin movies like Goonies and things like that. Like, we all kind of understand the tone and the comedy. And so Henry wrote a great script to begin with. And then David and Henry and our producer, Peter Safran, they trust me enough to, you know, I'll do what's on the page, what's written, and then I'll riff a little bit, and I'll go improv and, you know, just change up little punchlines, or even just, it's the same line, you just change it and give it, you know, deliver it in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
And then there were moments that were entirely unscripted just because there was nothing in the script, and I was like, well, I want to say something right now, so then I just would say something.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to. I actually don't even remember all the things that I did, and I've only seen the movie once, and I can't remember all the ones they used. So you're just gonna have to see the movie
to
see what I made up.
And we're gonna see the movie, right, guys?
Yes, you're gonna go see the movie. Of course, you're gonna go see the movie. Honestly, seriously, you really should go see the movie. It's really, really good.
We will. A lot of people, I believe, here and all over the world still are originally your fans because of Chuck. Are there any Chuck fans here?
Chuck fans?
Yes,
Hey!
of course. Do you still get approached a lot because of Chuck? And what are the fondest memories you keep from Chuck?
Yeah, well, yeah, I still get approached about Chuck, which is so awesome because, I mean, it was such a huge part of my life, and it was 5 years. It was a whole journey that me and the rest of the cast and crew all did life together for 5 years, and they're still my family. I love them so much. Was just texting with Yvonne yesterday. So it was an incredible experience. And I would say, you know, one of the interesting things about Chuck is that because it's been around now for a while. I mean, we started in 2007 and ended in 2012, but it was put on Netflix while we were still going. So it's been on Netflix or then Amazon Prime or then HBO Max, or I don't know what it's playing on down here or over here in Portugal, in Lisbon, but it's more people keep finding it. Yeah. So like Shazam came out 3 years ago. The people who have seen Shazam are pretty much the people who have seen Shazam. Yeah. But people keep finding Chuck, and they find it, and then I get to meet new fans. New fans of a show that you know, ended 10 years ago, which is really weird to think about that ended 10 years ago. But it's a wonderful thing, and I have just great. I mean, it was a really hard show to make because we were making an 80s action movie every week. I mean, it was the weirdest thing, you know, with all those incredible 80s guest stars. Remember all the people that, I mean, you know, Luke Skywalker was on the show, for God's sake.
Oh my God.
I punched Luke Skywalker in the face. Like, come on.
That's
insane
obviously a landmark.
It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah. On a personal note, I'm a big Disney fan, and I love Tangled and Flynn Rider.
Yes.
We have fans around here. Yay! And I also think that it really showcases your range as an actor, because, I mean, Shazam and Chuck and Flynn Rider, they're so different, and you have to sing and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, what memories do you have from working on Tangled, and how was that to sing, to do all of that with Disney?
I mean, it was a complete dream come true. Almost all of my jobs. Chuck was a dream come true. Shazam was a dream come true. Ever since I was a little kid, I dreamed that I would be an actor on TV, and I got to. Then I got to be the lead of a show on TV, and I got to. I wanted to be a superhero. And by the way, I've got to do that twice. I got to play a very small role in the Thor franchise as Fandral, which I wish they would have done more with, but it didn't, it was like, I was like, you're dead very quick in that franchise. But I'm so glad that I did die there, because then I was able to be resurrected and get to be my own superhero. And with Tangled, it was no different. Ever since I was a little kid, I dreamed that I would be in a Disney animated musical, like specifically. And then they were auditioning for the role for Flynn Rider, but they weren't actually auditioning any American actors, because they wrote Flynn to have a British accent. Okay. And so I was one of the only American actors that they were willing to see, because my agent fought. And she said, no, he can do an English accent. And I was like, yeah, I can do an English accent. Can you please let me audition for this role? I'd really like to do it. And so they let me do it. And I sang a song, and I did I did all the words and everything. And they hired me with an English accent. Yeah. I was like, yeah, all right. And then they decided, we think he's going to have an American accent. And then said, can you do that?
I mean,
and I was like,
that's
can I do
guys.
this?
Yeah.
Can I do how I talk? Yeah, I think I can do that.
So easier.
Yeah, and Flynn is honestly it was a dream come true to be in a Disney animated musical, but Flynn Rider is, guys, I mean, I know I'm biased, but he's kind of the best Disney prince ever. I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think, guys?
Yeah? Flynn Rider is the Han Solo of Disney princes, so I don't know how you can be better than that, you know? He's a little scoundrel, he's all in it for himself, and then he has a change of heart at the end, and he saves the world. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you just talked about the Thor films. It's interesting that you were in MCU, and now you are in DC films.
Yeah.
Is that like a Medal of Honor to be in both competing universes?
Well, I don't know. I mean, listen, not everybody's done it, but the list of people, actually, if you Google it, because plenty of people do, I know I have, and it's a pretty sizable list. If you look at all the different properties, right? So like, for example, there's like really mainstay MCU and really mainstay DCU, but under DC Comics and under Marvel Comics, there's a lot of offshoot type of things that have all been, made into movies. And some of those actors have also been in things. But so it's a badge of honor for sure. I think it's really cool. I think I'm the only actor who's been in the MCU, DCU, and been a Disney prince. I think I'm the only one who's done that.
That's like
so I win. Yeah. I'm the best.
That's like an EGOT for
Yes, totally. I just got to get like my wand and Harry Potter, and I've got the full. Then I'm bat the cycle.
Okay.
Actually, I really want to be in Star Wars. Oh man, I hope they make some.
Do we want him to be in
Yeah, come
Star
on.
Wars?
I need to be in some Star Wars something, right?
Yeah.
Something.
Now, changing completely the subject, you've also published your memoir, Radical Love, Learning to Accept Yourself and Others. Yeah. You open up about your mental health struggles. What made you want to open up about that and really tell your story to the world?
Well, I had a really major breakdown in my life, mental breakdown, about 5 years ago. And I really didn't want to live. And I didn't know, and I didn't understand why I didn't want to live. And it was so scary. But I was very fortunate that I had friends and family around me that loved me and supported me, and I was able to go find treatment, and I went to 3 weeks straight of like really intensive treatment. And in that treatment, I learned a lot of things, but one of the biggest things I learned was that I didn't love myself, and I didn't know that I didn't love myself. I didn't know that I didn't even like myself. I thought, I went around in my life thinking I feel pretty good about me, but I really didn't. And then I found out a lot of people struggle with this, and I think it's really unfortunate that, therapy can be very expensive sometimes. Yeah. And so I really wanted to just try and get as much of the knowledge and the wisdom that I got to just try and put that out to as many people as I possibly could, because we all deserve to love ourselves, guys. You should all be loving yourself. You are all worthy of that love. God, it's going to make me cry just looking at you in the face right now. You are all worthy of that love. And I love people so much.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Oh my God, no,
I'm good.
Party time,
So,
party time.
Yay!
Yay, we're happy again.
So I wanted to write, so then I just talked about it on a lot of podcasts. And then this publisher in the States, HarperCollins, they approached me and said, hey, would you want to write a book about all this stuff that you talk on the podcast? And I said, listen, I have a hard time reading books, so I'm going to have a really hard time writing a book. And they're like, don't worry, we can help you with that. And they did, and I had wonderful help. And so I was able to write the book. But I thought, listen, if I'm going to talk about all these things, I've got to be real about it. I can't just say I had a hard time and then I got therapy. It's like, no, I'm going to tell you why I had a hard time. I'm going to tell you about, really open up the hood and look under the hood and see how how dirty that engine is, or how it was. And because at the end of the day, we're all hoping for that. We all want to be real, right? We all want to be open and vulnerable and raw to the people that are around us, but we're afraid to do that because we're afraid of the judgment that might come, or whatever that is, because we live in a really messed up world sometimes. Yeah. So the more any of us can step forward and just say, hey, here's what I look like, here's everything, then the more other people feel encouraged and safe to go do the same. So yeah, that's why.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
You are here at Comic Con Portugal. You, of course, do a lot of cons around the world.
Sure.
Is it something you genuinely enjoy, or not as much? Not so much.
No, it's one of the. I mean, honestly, it's one of the coolest things about my life and my job. But it's. I see it as. I mean, legitimately, like, I grew up doing a lot of theater, and I still get to do Broadway and things like that. And it's a really, really cool thing to be able to do. But when you're doing live theater, kind of like this right now, like, even though I can't hear you guys, which is really weird, and even though I'm kind of like a fish in an aquarium right now, and you're all just kind of looking, right? Like, I can see your faces, and I can tell if you're engaged. I can tell if you're interested or enjoying yourself. Or if, when I came out here, everyone was like, who's that guy? No, it's cool. And they all just walked off. Like, I could get a sense of whether or not we were connecting, or whether or not I was doing a good job. In theater, you have an audience, and they're laughing with you and applauding with you, or hopefully they are. And you know what you're doing and how you're affecting people. But when you make movies and television shows, you do it in a vacuum. You have no idea. At the end of the, and by the way, and you do it, and then somebody else goes and takes all that footage and plays with it and edits it and makes it all different, and you don't know what they do with all that. And you got to wait a year or 2 years until the movie or TV show, finally comes out, and only then do people even start to have an opinion about what it is. And oftentimes, because those opinions are all online, a lot of people can just be shitty to be shitty if they want to, but some people can be kind, but you never meet those people.
Yeah.
And so how do I get to meet all of you guys? I come to conventions and I get to actually see you and look you in the eye and tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you are even here, that you even support, the fact that you're wearing a Nerd Herd shirt, sir. Like I love that I get to see this, because otherwise, you don't really ever know the impact of the things that you, as an actor, as a film or television actor, you have no idea what the impact of your projects are unless you actually meet the fucking people that go and support you and watch all the things that you do. And I love people so much. Again, like I said, like my whole life I've been a people person. And so then it dawned on me one day, because honestly, at most conventions, you guys are waiting very patiently. You queue up, you wait very patiently, and you pay us schmuck actors money to scribble on pictures of our own faces. It's a really weird job, right? But at the end of the day, it's really, we're all having a love exchange. You get to come and tell me that you appreciate the things that I do, and I get to look at you and tell you I fucking love you guys, and thank you. Thank you for even taking the time. I genuinely, for you guys, seriously,
That is the perfect ending for this. I'm sorry we don't have more time to be here with Zachary, but hopefully you can also go to his panel at 4 p.m. in the Golden Theater. Yes. And celebrate the Portuguese goals, of course.
Yes.
And, of course, watch,
that's gonna be so fun.
Watch Shazam next year on the theaters March 16th here in Portugal.
That's right. That's
bye,
right.
Guys. See you around.
Obrigado. Thank you.
Can I just ask
Oh,
you
yes.
to
Yes,
sign
sign
this?
that.
Thank you, Zachary. That was
Boom.
great.